Hello, in this video we're going to be reviewing how to make more advanced structure maps using our structure gridding tool. So in our previous videos we've loaded data such as our well headers, logs, and tops. We also did some setup where we brought in our deviations and we processed those. And we also set up our projections and zones. If you've not yet done this, please go back and review those videos. In the previous video we also set up a flow tool to take our tops, put those into TVD space, grid them, and then write that grid out, which we have displayed on a map. In this video, we're going to be doing something very similar, except we're going to be using Danomics structure gridding flow tools to do it instead of the points to grid. The difference here is subtle, but it is quite important. In the tops to grid, what we're doing is we are solving for both the structure and the isopach to ensure that where we have sparse tops, that we don't have crossing stratigraphy. So this helps us ensure that our resulting structure maps are as robust as they can be, especially as we move into areas of lower data density. So we're using essentially the implied isopach to guide the structure gridding. So let's get started. To do this, we come over here to our Welcome Project folder, and we can go File, New Flow, and I'm going to call this Welcome Structure Grid.flow. I'm going to hit OK. That creates this new flow. And this is going to be very similar to our welcome structure flow here. We are going to come over here and we are going to start off with points input, calls points. Tops are points, so we'll choose our tops here. We are then going to choose our tops to TVD. This puts our tops, takes them out of measured depth space and puts them into TVD space. To do this, we need our headers. And we will also choose our process deviations. We will then use our tops to structure grid tool. So we'll say add here, and we'll play match the columns. So value will be Z, API. We'll be doing this on our formations. We'll be doing this in XY, and we'll use X and Y. And we're going to be using the project projection that we set up in the previous video. And then finally, we're going to end this with a grid output. And we're going to just leave it with the default name of Welcome Structure Grid. And once again, we could either click the run arrow or go flow run. And this will pop up the jobs menu, and it'll go through the standard process of initializing, running, and then finished. Okay, the running phase of this should be very quick in most cases. It should only take a few seconds. And once this has finished, what we'll see is that we have a new file here called welcome structure grid.grid. And if I click on this, it brings up our preview window. And once again, we can see that this has been made for all of our formations. All right, so now to display this in a more useful way, we'll come over here to our welcome project map. And we have our previous structure grid on here. I'm going to turn that off here for a second. I'm going to add a new one. Once again, we choose property. Then I'm going to choose this new welcome structure grid, and I'm going to choose the Niobrara formation, and I'll once again give this a color scheme, and I'll say add. And now we have made the structure grid here. And you can see that there are some very slight differences. If I turn on my previous grid, we can see both contours here. We can see that there are some slight differences here in the way this gridding is done. And that's just because we're using a slightly different method where instead of gridding each top independently, we're also considering the isopach that we are generating here in this more advanced method. Okay, so that is how we can create the more advanced structure grids within Danomics. Next, we're going to move on to generating isopach maps. I'll see you in the next video.